How would a 5 vs 5 MOBA play out with a 1 vs 1 RTS style? This game pits two players against each other in a MOBA style objective game with the character control of an RTS game. The game has a total of 20 different characters that the player will have to select from. Each of these characters will possess unique abilities along the major triangle of character types: attack, defense, and support. Instead of needing to build complicated armor and weapons for each character, the player will rely on the base skills and attributes of each character they selected in order to build a successful team. Each game mode will have a different objective for the player to complete. Whether they're tasked with destroying the enemy base, escorting an objective across the map, or depleting the opposing player of all character reinforcements, each player will have to organize the right team in order to be victorious. The game will be playable on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. It targets semi-competitive players who enjoy a competitive MOBA or a casual RTS game, and provides a great option for players that do not want to rely on others for success. With this target demographic in mind, we designed our main mechanics. The attack mechanic encourages players to be aggressive in their play, while the defense mechanic allows the player to stop splitting their focus between characters when needed. The shuffle mechanic is in place to encourage players to try different playstyles by using different characters. The mechanic of memorization is utilized for a high skill ceiling by experienced players who can memorize the attributes of each character. We also implemented a grading mechanic to provide players with a continuous goal for improvement. In this instance, the red player moves all 5 characters directly down their lanes to initiate an attack, overwhelming the left and middle lane of the blue player. Here, the blue player places their leftmost character of their middle lane in defense mode, allowing it to block the character to his right while the player controls the characters on the outside lane. During the start of the game, the computer shuffles the 20 characters and randomly gives each player 10 options. Each player then selects 5 characters from the 10 available to them in order to make their team. From the 5 characters each player has chosen, the player will know the main character type for each character. The top player, though, has memorized the abilities of their cards and can utilize them more effectively, whereas the bottom player only memorized 2 of the 5 characters and thus will not have the strategic advantage. At the end of the match, the blue player was victorious and gained 11 points towards their rank. This resulted in them ranking from bronze to silver and then showing the player where they stand in the rankings. 3 games that are similar to this concept are League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, and Warcraft 3. With League of Legends and Heroes of the Storm, we share the commonalities of game modes and the fact that there are 5 characters on each side. The biggest difference is that both of those competitors have a player controlling each of the characters and forces the player to build weapons and armor for their character throughout the game. With Warcraft 3, we are very similar regarding how the player controls the characters. Players must select specific units and select which action each will perform in real time. The biggest thing that would separate us is in the gameplay style. We implement fast action 5 vs 5 game modes rather than large wars where building is a massive component to strategy. Our game stands out not only by its mechanics, but by how those mechanics will be meshed with our game modes to create an enjoyable and competitive experience for everyone that plays. The main game mode is the standard MOBA map, with 3 main lanes and 3 towers on each lane blocking the player's way into the opposing base, with jungle in between. Our second game mode is an escort objective. The attacking team is tasked with escorting a payload from their base across the map into the enemy base. Here, the map is much wider on the attacker side, forcing them into close proximity the further they advance towards their objective in the enemy base. The attacking team must choose one character to carry the payload to the objective, while using all other characters to defend them along the way. Our final game mode is a deathmatch mode, where each team has a limited number of respawn tokens available, and the first team to run out of characters loses. The map for this game mode contains 3 spawn locations for each player and a completely different lane layout than the other maps. This map layout allows for fast action at all times and ensures multiple routes of attack for each player. We feel this game will appeal strongly to our desired demographic. It is a new approach that is both fun, exciting, and competitive, and can start a new trend in the gaming industry. I want to thank you for your time listening to our pitch.